So I guess what we got what many have characterized as a split decision. And I'll start from the premise that I think this is a decision that both the SEC and Ripple did not expect. So let's break down the ruling.
Man, an interesting week and a lot of hype in the crypto world following the XRP SEC case. But there's a big issue many are missing. While I'm not a lawyer, Joe Carlasare knows what he's talking about and has looked in depth at the ruling. Hang on, because we're going to show you why XRP is finished. And a lot of people could be exit liquidity for insiders that are going to be facing massive fines. Also, why Michael Saylor is eyeing $10 million Bitcoin. We got a lot to cover. Let's get it. All right, we led you in with this. Now let's go ahead and complete Joe Carlasare's take here. A lot of good tidbits, and then we're going to get into this thread. Lots of good nuggets. Here we go.
Did not expect. So let's break down the rulings. So the first ruling is that effectively XRP, the initial sales of it by Ripple Labs, the institutional sales to high net worth individuals, to funds, to different entities that had contracts with Ripple, that was an unregistered security offering, that basically that violated U.S. securities laws to the tune of $728 million, and that initial sale was in fact, something that could be properly understood as an investment contract, as an unregistered offering. And then finally, with respect to Garlinghouse and Larson's, the principals of the company, the court said we need to stand trial to sort of assess their particular knowledge, whether they were knowingly violating securities laws. And that's a factual question that needs to be resolved at a trial. So they're going to set a trial on that at some point in the future. So they're not off the hook for these particular, their involvement in these particular sales, but it's just something that can't be resolved by a judge as a matter of law.
All right, so we got a lot there that you're not hearing from a lot of the mainstream crowd, and Oliver Valles has a good little thread here. So you heard about the $728 million was an unregistered offering. This means XRP will have to pay that back, and further here, likely have to pay seriously hefty fines, as we were talking about in our intro, for conducting an unregistered offering. Additionally, the founders will stand trial for this, and it's likely to lead to astronomical penalties from a personal point of view on their part. Add this to the fact that the SEC is likely to appeal the part of the ruling that made the purchases of XRP on exchanges not dealings in unregistered securities, and you have a total nuke in Oliver's opinion here. In his 4 decades of market experience, he's rarely seen a firm survive the consequences of a ruling of this magnitude. So don't believe the hype. They are using you for exit liquidity. Don't do it. This is enormous and only likely to get terribly worse. And again, here, this is what I was telling you as well. While I'm no legal expert, Joe Carlasare is. And I'm going out on a limb by saying this could very well lead to the ultimate end of XRP and have a huge impact on everything involving a crappy token going forward. XRP is gone, in my honest opinion. Don't get suckered into the pumps. And this is true. Do not get fooled by these people. And here we go from Forbes, and again, these headlines are pretty misleading. Ripple Labs won what looks like a partial victory in the suit against it by the SEC, sending shitcoin prices sharply higher. Now, this is where people are being misled, because the initial institutional offering, as you heard, the main distribution to insiders was an illegal offering, and the ramifications of all that are coming down the pipeline with future legal consequences that could be absolutely devastating. Ghost of Whitman is here to break it down for you. Maybe, explain it to me like I'm 5. Ripple Company, which has private shareholders, literally sells software to banks to help them launch their own digital money, and the company dumps their XRP tokens on bag holders. This is called exit liquidity to fund their business operations. It's a fucking scam. Don't be a maroon, okay? And I'm not the only one warning these bag holders that they're going to be exit liquidity. Ghost of Whitman right here again. He breaks it down. This happens time and time again, and this thing has never come near its former all-time high. It's down 90% in terms of Bitcoin price. The dump will be brutal for so many people. There's an actual savings technology that's changing the world out here, Let's get to Garlinghouse breaking down how XRP is a scam in his own words. Here we go.
In the XRP community, Ripple is the largest owner. And the point I have made is, as dumping, we don't want some other party buying a whole lot of XRP and dumping it on the market. And so yes, Ripple owns a lot of XRP. One of the things I'm excited about is you're seeing us dumping in our best interest to do that.
Interesting. So, but you agree that you can control the price to some degree.
Yeah, correct. That's basically correct. In the XRP community, Ripple is the largest owner.
Can I get an oof? Yeah, but listening to that, we're going to get into something later that could mirror the SEC Ripple issue, another shitcoin destined to go to zero, in which insiders received a 70% pre-mine. And here we go from Tone Vase on this article in Decrypt. Tone breaks down, he says, so the headline is really misleading. While this is good news for many scams and shitcoins, is pretty bad for Ripple and XRP, and the company is likely to go down unless they win an appeal. Great discussion on it. All right, we got a retweet from Joe Carlasare here. Well said, my friend. And as we go into this from Bayan Jacuto, don't be misled by this tweet, as the fact that XRP standing alone and in a vacuum is not a security is incredibly unremarkable. Digital assets are securities only by the manner in which they are offered, sold, exchanged, not by virtue of their existence. Do not be fooled or rug pulled. Please, let's review this again. XRP is a scam. So again, if you are out there and you are in the XRP army, you are being warned right now. Do not fall for this. You are being duped. Now, this is from the case. Further, the nature of the institutional sales also supports the conclusion that Ripple sold XRP as an investment rather than for consumptive use. In their sales contracts, some institutional buyers agreed to lock up provisions or resale restrictions based on XRP's trading volume. These restrictions are inconsistent with the notion that XRP was used as a currency or for some other consumptive use. Simply put, a rational economic actor would not agree to freeze millions of dollars if the purchaser's intent was to obtain a substitute for fiat currency. And we've got this citation here. Certain institutional sales contracts required the institutional buyers to indemnify Ripple for claims arising out of the sale of distribution of XRP, and other contracts expressly stated that the institutional buyer was purchasing XRP solely to resell or otherwise distribute and not to use as an end user or for any other purpose. These various provisions in the institutional sales contract support the conclusion that the parties did not view the XRP sale as a sale of a commodity or a currency. They understood the sale of XRP to be an investment in Ripple's efforts. Therefore, having considered the economic reality and totality of circumstances surrounding the institutional sales, the court concludes that Ripple's institutional sales of XRP constituted the unregistered offer and sale of investment contracts in violation of Section 5 of the Securities Act. So there you have it. And here we go. XRP is a security and a scam. No bribe judge will change the fact that it is, and you don't want to end up being Brad Garlinghouse's human centipede going on over here. Guys, open your eyes, because XRP is an ICO scam perpetuated by Ripple. They will continue to dump on gullible regards while working on CBDCs and Greenpeace FUD, biggest anti-freedom shitcoin there is. And yes, very anti-freedom, as they are WEF lovers. And everyone in this XRP place, they seem to love and praise CBDCs. Talk about drinking some Kool-Aid and not giving one single about privacy, equity, or freedom. You guys can go yourselves. And we've got more here from Corey Clipston, CEO of Swan. VCs, get ready to cry harder, because the most meaningful result of the Ripple rulings is the destruction of the crypto venture capital model. No insiders making hundreds of millions from illegal sale of securities means no marketing budgets for altcoin management teams. So in the future, worthless alts will need to actually compete with Bitcoin on merit without money to hire market makers, bribe companies into fake partnerships, ecosystem funds, paid bots, Telegram group agencies, conference T&E advertising, etc. Good luck with that. And again, a lot of positives for Bitcoin following the ruling, and not a lot of good news for alts and the shitcoin crypto world. And this is why Bitcoin is a catalyst for change, a silent revolution disrupting the status quo. It challenges the monopoly of centralized authorities and puts power back into the hands of the people. The potential for a fairer, more equitable world lies within our grasp. Freedom, truth, and purpose will continue to win. It's just math. And back to earlier, think of Garlinghouse and check out Mr. Fuzzy Slipper's Vitalik Buterin and ETH showing their cards as an identical scenario. All right, let's play it, shall we?
I've been hoping to launch our pre-sale on February 1st. So this is the way to get into Ethereum financially, which would be that we would be selling Ether at a rate of 2,000 Ether for 1 Bitcoin, and Ether would become the internal currency of the Ethereum network. So you would be able to So Ether would be like the BTC and Bitcoin, or like the XRP and Ripple. It's sort of the glue that holds the system together. If he wants to run a contract, you would have to pay transaction fees denominated in Ether. And if you want to exchange between two different assets on the Ethereum network, chances are Ether would be the intermediate currency that you would be doing it through. So it's sort of like the reserve currency of the network. Now, we were hoping to launch the sale where you would be able to buy Ether for Bitcoin. We had to delay that for a combination of reasons, partially in order to better flesh out the business plan, partially in order to better flesh out the terms, partially for legal reasons. So we have been working hard at all those things all the way through February and the first week of March. So from an organizational standpoint, our current situation is that we have an entity registered in Switzerland. And the reason why we're looking at Switzerland as a jurisdiction is because, first of all, Switzerland is very well known for its very friendly banking laws. It's much easier to do anything related to innovative finance in Switzerland than it is in something like the United States or even Canada. Another country we were looking at was Panama, which has some similar properties, but we decided that Switzerland is likely to be more stable.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that, guys. Today, Junior. But for more on this after this video, down below will be a link, and maybe up above, please check out our video, Did ETH Commit Suicide?, in which we break down in detail how ETH violated securities laws. And man, guys, it's all going to zero. Whereas the hardest money ever created or discovered is headed to 10 million, and it's based on math. Here's Michael Saylor.
So Bitcoin price has gone through quite a roller coaster. What do you think is the high point it's going to hit?
I think it'll go up forever, right? I mean, I think the Bitcoin is going to climb in a serpentine fashion. It's going to advance and come back, and it's going to keep climbing. I think that the volatility attracts all the capital into the marketplace. And so the volatility makes it the most interesting thing in the financial universe. It also generates massive yield and massive returns for traders. And that attracts capital. Like, we're talking about the difference between 5% return and 500% return. Mm-hmm. So the fast money is attracted by the volatility. The volatility has been decreasing year by year by year. I think that it's stabilizing. I don't think we'll see as much volatility in the future as we have in the past. I think that if we look at Bitcoin and model it as digital gold, the market cap goes to between 10 and 20 trillion. But gold is defective property. Gold is dead money. You have $1 billion of gold that sits in a vault for a decade. It's very hard to mortgage the gold. It's also very hard to rent the gold. You can't loan the gold. No one's going to create a business with your gold. So gold doesn't generate much of a yield. So for that reason, most people wouldn't store $1 billion for a decade in gold. They would buy $1 billion of commercial real estate property. And the reason why is because I can rent it and generate a yield on it that's in excess of the maintenance cost. So if you consider digital property, that's $100 to $200 trillion addressable market. So I would think it goes from 10 trillion to 100 trillion as people start to think of it as digital property.
What does that mean in terms of price per coin?
At 500,000, right? That's a $10 trillion asset. At 5 million, that's a $100 trillion asset.
So you think it crosses $1 million, it can go even higher?
Yeah, I think it keeps going up forever. I mean, there's no reason it couldn't go to 10 million a coin, right? Because digital property isn't the highest form, right? Gold was that low frequency money. Property is a mid frequency money. But when I start to program it faster, it starts to look like digital energy, and then it doesn't just replace property. Then you're starting to replace bonds. Right? There's 100 trillion in bonds. There's 50 to 100 trillion in other currency derivatives. And these are all conventional use cases, right? I think that there's $350 trillion to $500 trillion worth of currency derivatives in the world. Mm-hmm. And when I say that, I mean things that are valued based upon fiat cash flows. Any commercial real estate, any bond, any sovereign debt, any currency itself, any derivatives to those things, they're all derivatives, and they're all defective. And they're all defective because of this persistent 7 to 14% lapse, which we call inflation or monetary expansion.
Believe it or not, it is inevitable, and so are the trips to zero for these clown coins when priced in Bitcoin. Nice tweet here. Just some more nuggets to drop to those, brainwashed into this XRP scam. Things that were not proven or were not even attempted to be proven by the SEC. XRPL is centralized. Ripple controls XRP. Ripple is a scam. Ripple commits fraud. XRP has no utility, and XRP is a security. But signs of destruction are imminent. We have this one here. As predicted, the XRP Ripple case would be a split ruling, and the judge would not rule on XRP secondary sales, and parts of the case are going further to trial. The majority of XRP sales by Ripple were uninterested security sales, and secondary market for XRP is still in limbo. Going back to Carlasare and Vase, it's not looking good. It's easy. Stay humble, stack sats, don't be someone's exit liquidity. There is Bitcoin and there is Shitcoin. Don't suffer the hard way, as so many have. Again, you've been warned. And a beautiful chart from Vandalay. It's entertaining to see the old Ripple Army shills lively again, but keep in mind that gamblers in this scam have lost over 90% versus simply hodling Bitcoin and will never get close to recover even a fraction of that. You won't find treasure in a sinking ship. Man, guys, another wild week in Bitcoin, but the horizon of the bright orange future draws nearer as time and time again, Bitcoin exposes its foes, their corruption, and their centralization, and those who laughed, spit, and fought, they're changing their tone. Larry Fink, and Bitcoin will win. And we are in the maybe second or third batter in the first inning in the grand scheme of where Bitcoin is going. But another certainty is that all of these shitcoins will continue to be exposed as scams and centralized fraud. They're all going to zero. Tell your shitcoining friends, because the Bitcoin train ain't stopping. I'm your host, Rustin. We are Simply Bitcoin. Like, share, subscribe, and spread the peaceful revolution. And oh yeah, don't shitcoin. It's bad for you. Adam Curry gets it.
It's kind of amazing, like what subjects are actually like mainstream now. I mean, if you really look at just the actual numbers, like FTX, the FTX scandal is mainstream.
Fantastic.
Because
I love it.
It's mainstream on the internet. And the internet is where everybody is. So it is mainstream. Even if they're not discussing it very much on, these networks that might have had some sort of a financial tie to FTX. Could have been. I don't know. Yes. Maybe some of these politicians
197
to look the other way.
197 people in Congress took money from FTX.
What are the coincidences? 197 coincidences.
I'm just saying. It just happens.
What a great move, though. Buy off everybody. But even then, it still doesn't help you if your money runs out. That's a weird little whore game you're playing. Well, you could pay off as many people as you can, keep it running, but you better keep that fucking hustle running.
This is so loaded with shit that I don't think we'll ever see the bottom of this pit.
Well, as a guy who's really into crypto, that must be fascinating for you to watch that blow apart, right?
Well, I'm very happy that it blew apart because these are all shit coins. As a guy who's into Bitcoin, not crypto, all of this came after Bitcoin. All of it's shit, and all of it needs to go to zero. And
so you think Bitcoin is the only way?
Well, yeah, no one controls it. There's no CEO. No one can do anything different with it. It just exists. And it kind of exists because of the network of people, because ultimately you don't need any company. You don't even need mining companies. I run 2 miners at home. I print about $1.50 a day. And I love it. It makes me feel in control of my destiny, that I can do things with other people and the government can't tell me what I can or cannot do with my money.
I love that Adam Curry's a Bitcoin miner. It's awesome. That's awesome.
It's fun.